those worked fine until you go prone or go sitting or do anything under speed, because those things fell out. And essentially with those mag pouches without bungee retention systems, you're running giant shallow dump pouches. They will literally dump your mags.
Yeah.
So if something has a retention device, you might think, oh, this is slow, I have to defeat. It's like a retention holster, I have to defeat this retention device. Well, we'd rather defeat a retention device for a holster if you have to do something dynamic or moving, or for those who need to do a backwards backflipping hatchet throw.
Oh yeah.
Your holster will stay there. It's the part of having your ammo, which is holding on to the things that you're going to be throwing downrange to keep yourself alive. Just be able to keep that on your person where you put it, instead of getting up from prone and having the stuff dump out. And when you're under time, especially if you have to move, not under the dynamic conditions of the long range portion, where 150 yards, where, okay, I'm moving, I can leave my empty ones that have fallen out that I've had to carry to the sitting position. But now, unless the mags are so nice and neatly organized, when you have 10 seconds of time to get your position and then also to move to the next one, to finding out which magazines are loaded. So I had to pick up and look at which magazines there were that had ammo and which ones didn't, to be able to prioritize, okay, I need to bring this one with me. In this case at Rogers, it was you lose points if you leave loaded magazines. Well, in a firefight, you don't want to be the one like, okay, which one do I have? Time is of the essence for many other important reasons.
Yeah, and that brings up another good point. Like he was talking about magazine retention, and if you don't have time. So basically, all the magazines on your vest should feed your first line, which is your battle belt. So if you have a low in the fight, then you can defeat the retention and put it onto your battle belt, because it's easier and faster. And more people train wearing a battle belt than they do full kit. And so if you practice continuously to draw from your battle belt, you're going to be a lot faster at that than trying to, negate a retention system and then do your mag change from there. So why not just undo a couple of them at the same time, re-holster them in your battle belt, and then go on to the fight. That way you still have 2 fresh mags in your battle belt. So basically your second line, which is your kit, will feed your first line, which is your battle belt. So that way you can always have fast access, and you don't have to worry about, retention this, and, I have to defeat this and that type of thing. And, just like anything in life, I didn't have enough mag pouches, and so I was end up having to put extra magazines into my cargo pockets. And at first I was like, well, I have 3 magazines. It's 3 courses of fire, 60 seconds each. And I thought, I'd have enough. Nope. As soon as I got out there, when I was in the second position, I had dumped 3 of my mags already. And I was on to my 4th and 5th. And so thankfully I had listened to the instructors. And that's one thing I wish I would have had more of. And see, that's what I should have done, is feed my first line as I wore through my mags. I should have took them out of my pockets when I had a lull in the fight and feed my first line. And so that's something that I will do next time, just to make myself more efficient. But that's like what we're saying is, it's good to do this in training rather than be on a freaking battlefield or in a firefight or defending your house and figuring out, oh shit, this doesn't work.
Better to be have embarrassment in training instead of disappointment in a real life fight.
Yeah, because you don't want your last thoughts on earth to be,
Why did I do it? Why?
Yeah.
So, there's schools that recommend bringing 2 guns in case one goes down. I was glad in this case and that they were helpful for you. Getting you the working guns. And for the long distance portion, it's not a cakewalk. I messed up, I know, but even during testing, because I was kind of smoked. I think everyone was kind of smoked just for doing the practice runs. But even when I went prone, because I always do the cox leg, so one of my knees is up forward and the other one's straight leg. I actually did it wrong. which, yeah, it would have cost me some shots, but I guess the easy thing to say for Rogers, for people who would ever go out there, you would want to have a nice stable prone, but it's kind of one of the things I even told you before coming out as well. You're going to learn that you'll never really touch the forend. You'll never really touch the handguard. Everything for stability and reactive shooting goes against the precision shooting idea of, okay, you can still get a nice stable position, like hold the forend or bring it back a little bit, but still grab the forend. In this case, you actually can rotate and not even be completely vertical and straight on the magazine well. You can still roll the rifle almost like you're steering a car and still hit, as long as you're zeroed to that particular distance. Or if you shoot at other distances for reactive shooting, obviously not when you're going out to like 200, 300 yards. You still take your precision shot because that's not what... You're not going to be doing reactive shooting like that far out. At least I wouldn't think someone would try to do that. By all means, if you want to try that, go right ahead. But if you're zeroed out to a particular distance, like 100, 200 yards, you can still do shots grabbing onto a magazine well. Granted, I even purchased more of the Rogers magwell grips because those things are particularly patented. There are other ones that do somewhat of the same things, but they're a little bit fatter. There's one particular brand I was using, and then in April of last year, that was really big. It had finger grooves, but the one that Rogers used, not to just give him like a shameless plug or just to say yes, like whatever's on Safari Land's the best. This particular one, it's easier to put on, and it works really well, keeping your hand away from where the barrel and the chamber meet the receiver, which can get really hot on a gun. It works really well for that stable platform.
Yeah, and meeting Bill Rogers was just an experience in and of itself, man. That guy is a wealth of knowledge, and not only that, like, one of the best things about it is just his knowledge base is so huge, and he's just such a humble person, and who's always looking to improve. Like, I love meeting people like that, and not only him, but all of his instructors were amazing and very professional. What they did, they shot. You know, it wasn't one of those courses like, oh, do what we say. No, they got out there and they shot the courses of fire and they cleaned the racks. You know,
for anyone listening to this who's an instructor, demo your course of fire.
Yeah, if you tell someone to do something a certain way and then you can't get out there and do it, maybe you should reevaluate what the hell you're doing with yourself. You know, maybe get out there and practice a little bit. You know, game the game or something. Because you know, if you can't get out there and you can't perform, then you know, how are your students supposed to believe that they're able to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And that you know, that goes for anything in life, you know? You should be able to perform on the spot, you know? Oh, I didn't warm up, I didn't do this. You're the instructor, you know? And that's one good thing, you know, what I experienced here was all these people were very proficient and professional, and they taught me a lot about, you know, what we should do and how to do it. And they basically say, okay, you can do it your way and fail, or you can just, you know, try and learn a different method and be successful. And it improved my shooting, I would say, like at least like 3-4 times. And when I got here, you know, I wasn't doing too hot. You know, it goes to your ego, you know, that you're like, man, fuck, I know I'm better than this type thing. But you know, I got over that, and I was just like, okay, well, you know, one of the big things is you have to get over your misses and you have to focus on your next task. Because if you're thinking about drill 2 when you're on drill 3, you're gonna be fucked. You're gonna, you know, screw yourself over. And so it's a real mindset. A lot of it's mindset too, because I would see people just, you know, getting flustered and frustrated, and then they would shoot their next course, and like a quarter way through, you see them take their eye off the fucking weapon and just shake their head and just, you know, kind of give that a sign of defeat, you know. And but it's one of those courses where you really have to stay in the fight, because you know your next course of fire is still coming.